What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi here, flying solo. Going to do a really quick basketball show. We're going to try and keep it like to 5 minutes. I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite plays on this small slate. I don't have Sheets today. Good luck to him. Really sorry to hear that he got COVID and really disappointed for him. Sorry not to have him here. Hopefully he'll be back soon and at full strength. And it's getting a lot of people. Fortunately, I think he's doing okay. Got a little bit of a cough, but yeah. It's just always rough this time of year for this stuff right now. It's hitting everybody. So really sorry to hear that about Sheets, and we hope he gets well really soon. I do want to touch on real quick the games from tonight. There's gonna be it's gonna depend on a lot of things. We have Cleveland guys who are gonna be in that we didn't think would be in now. It's gonna probably eliminate guys like Pangos who are in some of my original builds. I think Lamar Stevens will be back. I think that they'll have Ed Davis back, which maybe a little bit downgraded to Gafford, who I like quite a bit. But my early builds are sort of as such. Like I think Embiid is the best play up on the slate. I also do like Jokic, but I think that, and I think I'll try to play them together in some places. I think stacking the Orlando game and hoping it stays close is an interesting way to go. You get to play Hampton, Wagner, both Wagners, Carter, potentially Gary Harris, and then run it back with Giannis or something like that. I think that's another viable route. I think Giannis will be the lower owned of the superstars. I like Giannis a lot, especially on FanDuel. And again, Embiid is going to be my favorite big everywhere, my favorite spend up. I think he's going to have a monster game against Brooklyn tonight. So that's the way I'm leaning. I currently am way over. I'm going to be very heavy on Hampton and Wagner, Mo Wagner, and Franz Wagner, who just put up, a monster game against this team and may get a little bit lost in the shuffle. I also think that other spend ups we're talking about, or spend somewhat ups, I think Evan Mobley, especially on FanDuel, you get some shot blocking steal upside as well. We're going to have to wait to hear about Bradley Beal, but if he's out, it's almost going to be locking in Dinwiddie on both sites, basically. We're going to have to see how the starting lineup comes out for Cleveland, but we're probably going to want some other pieces in the backcourt there. I think Okoro is very viable, may have to actually do a few more things offensively than he usually does tonight. We know he can play a lot of minutes and put up nothing. He also can put up 30 for you. We've seen that recently. And the more bodies they lose, the more minutes he plays, and potentially gets a little bit of a usage bump, even though he's not a high usage player in general. Love Steph for tournaments, especially on DraftKings, is going to be a little bit lower owned than the other guys, and just had a dud against these guys the other day, but always a great tournament play. If he just played as well as he did in the fourth quarter, put 4 quarters of that together and you got a monster Steph game. So that's sort of what I'm looking at. It's not overwhelmingly exciting slate. I will be live at 6 Eastern because we're going to have some news and Dylan Windler and stuff. Does that open up Dean Wade? Do we even want to do that? I'm still debating on some of this stuff, but I'm going to need to see who's in and out. And I think we're going to have a lot of information, even though it's a small slate. That's going to be heavy. Nothing bigger right now than Bradley Beal, and of course we don't know about whatever else is going to come. I think Denzel Valentine is a really sneaky play. Even if these other guys that come back for Cleveland, we've seen him in these spots before have really big games. Now it's a little harder because Cleveland's got a few better bodies, but he did just put up 37 a couple games back against Toronto, and that was a blowout, granted, but Cleveland's really good and they can blow people out, especially if there's no Bradley Beal. I don't necessarily expect that tonight, but I do like Cleveland. And I do like the idea of maybe Valentine taking over a little bit of those guard roles, regardless of whether he starts or not. Again, Freddie Gillespie, guys like that are going to show up a little bit if you want to cram in some of the high spend ups. I think he's okay. I don't feel like you have to do it, but I don't mind getting a little bit of exposure because I'm going to try and mix and match a little bit. I mentioned Wendell Carter as part of a game stack. I think that Campazzo stands out as a good value play. The medium guys like Wiggins, who maybe won't get as high ownership, Kevin Love, I think that they're solid as well. But my main builds are going to be around Embiid and Hampton, Wagner, both Wagners actually to start. And then Dinwiddie will be the guy if no Beal. And I don't even mind him if Beal's back on FanDuel, especially at 6,300. And then Daniel Gafford, I think, is a tremendous play at 5K, even with Ed Davis supposedly returning. I think that, he played 36 minutes the other night. If we get 36 minutes out of Gafford, I think you can basically plug him in for, if he gets 32 minutes, 30 minutes, he's going to basically get a fantasy point per minute on a bad night, I think. So I really like Gafford a ton tonight. There's a lot of good centers to spend up on, Embiid, Jokic, obviously, but I do think Gafford is another good route to go. Just as this is happening, Spencer Dinwiddie has been ruled out. So scratch the whole slate. It's going to be a whole different slate now. We're going to have to wait for that to update. And that's going to mean if Bradley Beal plays, that he's a very strong play. That's going to mean these other guys, the Okoros, Mobley, everybody who gets usage, Kevin Love on that side, Denzel Valent. I'm sorry, not Denzel, I'm going on the other side. Those are the guys you play opposite side of them. We're supposed to have KCP back. We don't know yet. Kuzma could be a really strong play because he might just get more usage. He's always a wild card because he takes, he's a streak player. But I think he's going to be more viable. Avdia, we need to hear about Bertand. A lot to sit on, and even Kispert could get a lot of run tonight without Dinwiddie out there, because they don't really have another true one, right? Like Bradley Beal can play the one if he's in, and it's going to be kind of interesting. KCP is kind of a stretch to be the one, but I think he'd be viable now with no Dinwiddie if we don't have Bradley Beal, especially. So we're going to have to wait to see how it goes. I'll be live with you guys at 6 Eastern. This is just sort of a first look. I still think you're spending on the same guys. Embiid being number 1, Jokic being number 2, Giannis being number 3, and Steph being number 4. But I do think Steph, because of the ownership, might be a little bit lower. Although I think that Giannis and he should both be similarly low owned. So that's where I'm at today, guys. Good luck to everybody, and let's see what we can do. Let's crush it tonight. So good luck out there, and yeah, we'll see you guys hopefully at the top of the leaderboards. See you at 6 Eastern.